What's up, guys? Today's guest is living proof that you don't need paid ads or fancy funnels to build a wildly successful real estate business. Just need smart strategy and a phone. I'm talking about none other than John Schuchman. John is a fellow EXP Wolfpack leader, host of the Real Estate Survival Guide podcast, and one of the most consistent organic content creators in the entire industry. In fact, he racks up over 100,000 views per month on social media without spending a single dime on leads. So from being broke in 2020 to building a multiple six-figure real estate business, John's journey is what happens when you mix grit, smart content, and a ton of value. Now he leads a membership community where he teaches other agents how to generate leads and close deals, all through organic content that doesn't require being glued to your phone 24/7. So we're diving into how he built this thing brick by brick, the exact strategies he teaches his members, and how AI is now supercharging his content game. So if you're tired of paying for leads that go nowhere, or just want to get off the content hamster wheel, then this episode's for you. So let's jump right in. Ladies and gentlemen, I got John Schuchman on the phone here.
Stop!
Out of makeup.
You better not. Oh my God.
Guys, if you didn't know, that's John without makeup.
I was better looking when I was a fox. We're just gonna start it like that?
Dude, why not? You know?
All right, last time I tried to make a joke. In fairness, Adam, if you release this part of the video, I do have a video of you singing.
I got caught in a candid moment there, didn't I? Sitting here singing in falsettos to some pop punk music while John's waiting in the waiting room and I didn't know he could hear me. So now you're gonna have some leverage against me.
I don't know. Pop punk, it sounded a little like emo. I thought I'd get on the video and you'd be crying with your black eyeliner on, bro.
Hey, you know, the black eyeliner is no run. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, dude, that's funny. You know what's funny is you just dated yourself, right? Because, like, dudes in their 40s are like, hey, pop punk. And then dudes in their 30s are like, oh, it's called emo. Big difference. But let's jam out. Let's talk about emo music, huh? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
I can sing Good Charlotte for everybody. That was my jam back in the day. Simple Plan, Good Charlotte. I could sing a little bit of that.
That's old school pop punk right there, man. That's the good stuff, dude.
That's right.
All right, well, hey, let's jump into it, dude. Tell us kind of like, how did you get started in this industry? What brought John Schuchman into real estate when you could have done so many other things in life, like a comedian, for one?
Well, I did a lot of other things, and I wasn't good at any of them, Adam. So that's kind of, you know, my story. It's like the 10 years in 10 seconds, basically. We'll make it quick. Yeah. I've had every W-2 job in the world. I sucked at all of them. And I always tell people I wasn't like sleeping with the boss or stealing from the cash register. I'm just a dreamer and a visionary. ADHD, and we've talked about that. So I did not want to be told what to do. And so the long and the short of it is, you know, February 26, 2019, lost my last W-2 job. Went into kind of a mental spiral after that, but eventually got out of that. Thank the Lord for that. And got into real estate that August, so 2019. So I'm, I guess it's more than 5 years in now, which is wild. And real estate was the first thing that I'm like, I love this. Like, and Adam, you know this, like, we have hard days as we help our clients and we both coach agents. We have hard days, but overall, like, I'm like, I really freaking love what I do. I love waking up, and every day's different, right? So that kind of brought me into real estate. I will say, one of the things I noticed was I was always good at sales. I was always good at sales. My stepdad taught me basically how to sell ice to an Eskimo, and I was always good at sales. I was never good at being an employee. So that's kind of how I got into real estate, and it's been such a freaking journey to create success with it. The first year is kind of rough, but if you could survive the first year or two, like, man, you can make some good money in this business and have a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, man. It's a great way to build thick skin too, right? Like, I think the only people that get rejected more than realtors are musicians when it comes to booking shows when they're brand new. But that's right. Wild, man. I love that you bring up about the W-2 because that was my experience too, man. I went through so many different jobs before I got into real estate. Like, literally my longest job that I ever had W-2 is like 2.5 years, and then
that's a long time.
It is kind of a long time, right? Like, especially when you're not really valued. And that was my thing, is I'm a horrible W-2 employee. I would come into these jobs and I would be a visionary. You know, I'd like, hey, I got ideas, and then they just shoot them down, and then that would basically destroy any motivation to want to do a good job. And that was it, you know. And when I decided to take that leap outside of W-2 into the unknown world of entrepreneurship. It was scary, and a lot of people thought I wouldn't succeed, but it was like, no, this is the right answer, because now I can bring my visions to life. I have something that I'm absolutely passionate about constantly, so I have the motivation to get up to do it. And like you said, every day's different and it's constantly evolving. So I've found that I'm a great entrepreneur and a horrible employee. So I wonder how many people are out there right now with W-2 jobs thinking the same thing. And it's like, hey, just take the jump, man. Just do it. You only live once, you know?
Yep. And I would say to you, you know, a lot of realtors kind of get in, they try to do this part-time, do it on the side. Oh, how do I make this work? Right. For me, like, honestly, losing my job, and I have this mentor, Vincent Puglisi, and I'm still in a mentorship group with him today. But I remember calling him that day, and I'm like crying like a baby that I lost my job. And he's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, I basically was like, nah, my wife is pregnant. We're going to be broke. And he always saw in me that, like, he actually thought at the time that it was going to be photography, because I used to do photography, weddings, and things like that. Yeah. But he knew I was meant to be an entrepreneur. And then when he saw me connect to real estate, he was like, that's perfect for you. I think we all kind of have like a mentor or friend that like have been telling us like, you should do this or that, right? And we just don't listen. So it's so funny, when he saw real estate, he's like, I never thought about that, but that's perfect for you. For like, I mean, I'm really gifted at relationships and sales. Well, real estate's a great thing. And I mean, Adam, I see how you take care of your clients and how I take care of mine. We're both a little different, right? We're not like the normal, you know, realtor. Neither of us are going to a settlement in a suit, bro. I think I burned all my suits after I got out of banking. I don't think anybody cares what you wear or what you drive or whatever. They care about like how you genuinely care about them, how you make them feel. And so real estate is that one thing that like combines relationships and sales. Like if you care about people and you're good at selling stuff, but not like trying to scam them. Like when I go to sell, I actually genuinely care about the person. I genuinely want them to have success. Yeah. Sometimes it means a few deals fall apart and I make a little less money, but I will tell people if I honestly believe this home is not a good fit. Yeah. Right. 100%. And I do the same thing. We both coach, like in a membership I run for realtors. There's times where I will talk to realtors and I'm like, you're not a fit. And they're like, so I can't join? And I'm like, nope. And they don't understand that because they're like, don't you want my money? And I'm like, no, because you would basically poison my group, right? I want people there, and I teach organic social media, and I'm sure we'll get into that. Like, I want people that are going to put in the work, not you saying, well, can I just buy Zillow leads or spend a ton of money on ads? That's not my thing. And so I have other people. You're good at teaching like AI, CRM. Like, I'm not that guy that's going to say, go spend money on ads and things like that. So, right. But it is wild. Like, I don't just do stuff for a paycheck. I actually do it because I genuinely care about people.
100%, man. I had a listing opportunity come up from one of my buddies from back in the day. It's actually my preferred lender's brother. Long story short, my preferred lender is my sister's best friend from childhood. My sister was 2 years older than me, and when got into real estate, and I never wanted to use her ever because it was my sister's friend, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm walking down the Vegas Strip on vacation with the deal falling apart, and the lender that I was using called me and said, no, we can't do the deal. We've got overlays in our system that are preventing this from happening. And out of a moment of desperation, I called Audra up, and I'm literally walking down the Strip, and I don't know about many people who go to Las Vegas, but sobriety's not really a thing out there. So I'm pretty buzzed up, and I'm walking down the Strip, and my deal falls apart, and I desperately call Audra because my sister's right next to me. She's like, you just got to call Audra, dude. Called her. Long story short, she put the deal back together. We closed it in a week. Like, it was amazing, right?
That's
so she's
insane.
been my lender ever since. And dude, she does a really good job. She's very knowledgeable. But the cool thing about it is that, you know, later on, her brother's like, hey, I want to sell my condo. So he hits me up. We do some research on it. Turns out there's a couple of major special assessments going on inside the condo right now. So we're looking at the history. There's like 13 listings on the market in just that condo complex alone. Only 2 sales in the last 6 months. Everything's stagnant over there. So it's like, well, why is that, right? So we dive into it. Turns out there's a special assessment for the elevators and then for the facade, and it's gone over budget. It was originally quoted at like $2 million, and now they're looking at $10 million. So it's basically stopped everything in this complex. And most realtors are like, well, how do I get this listing? Let's get this listing. Let's get it on the market. I literally had the conversation with the guy. I'm like, look, bro, you own the place. You're leasing it out right now. You're making your mortgage. Like, I don't know if now's the best time for you to put this thing on the market if you want to sit for another 90 days. And for full history, it was on the market twice before and he expired both listings. So he's been trying to sell this thing since that special assessment started. And it's like, hey man, I'm not here just to get the listing and grab a commission check off of you. I want to make sure that you make the right decisions. And if it was me and I was holding this property and it was having the mortgage paid, like I would just be focused on having somebody else pay that mortgage for me so I get this free unit. And then when the special assessment's all said and done, you could potentially HELOC the home, pay off the special assessment, keep that HOA low, and then we put her right back on the market, man, and we can get it sold. So I literally gave a listing away, or I turned down a listing, and obviously we don't always take every listing, but the key here is it's not about us. It's not about our commission check. It's not about that. It's about what is the best decision for this customer. And that's something I think is still pretty lacking in this industry. There's still a lot of old school peeps that are like, you know, let's use psychology to convince them that now is the time to sell. You know, oh, the interest rates are going to be lower later. Let's buy now so you don't have to pay more for a home. While there may be truth in that, I view it as almost like a form of manipulation. And it's like, dude, we got to take a step back and just do what's in the best interest of our clients.
Well, and Adam, like just jumping in quick, like think about people that suggested to everyone last year, you know, they do the marry the house date to rate, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. I hate that everybody stole it and like used it, like that was kind of corny. But what I find interesting is people were like, they were encouraging some people to get an ARM, and they basically said, oh, after, you know, whoever's elected, blah, 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 rates will go down. What about that's not really the case? So I think as realtors, like, here's the thing too, like, and I think you and I do a good job of this, let the experts be the experts. I'm not an expert in rates. I'm not going to tell you, go get an ARM because rates are going to drop. I'm going to let the lender tell you where they project rates to be. And we're even seeing it all across the country. Like they may drop a quarter, maybe a half this year. We're not going to see 3% or 4% this year. And so basically encouraging someone to buy and get into an ARM or whatever, like, and those kinds of things is stupidity at best and basically complete dishonesty because you want a deal at worst.
Yeah, man, it's negligence. Like, let's think of it on the legal terms. It's negligence. You're negligently telling a client something that you have no way of forecasting. And this is like with the 3-2-1 buy downs that were going on. And right as the interest rates hit, like we're coming to the end of those 3-2-1 buy downs. And now these people that were being told by other agents to date the rate, marry the house, like they're like, hey, you told me interest rates would be in the 5s or 5.5% within this 3-year period. Now my 3 years expiring and I have to really figure out how I can actually afford this home. And like, you know.
Yeah, and the date the rate, marry the house thing is like, oh, marriage, this and that. Like, okay, and what if you're dating the rate and you can't upgrade?
100%, man. Or what if your 3-2-1 expires and you find out that just because the lender said your DTI matches, now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, okay, I got my 3-2-1 buy down. I bought down to, you know, X amount rate, and now I'm going up 1 to 1.5 points. It's like, whoa, dude, my mortgage rate just massively increased. So I'm wondering what that's going to look like as far as, you know, foreclosures start to increase, because a lot of these people are going off the advice of the professional, which is us. And you hit the nail on the head, man. It's like, stay out of that lane. It's not our lane. Our job is to educate and inform, not to forecast and predict. You know what I mean? In a sense, I mean, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm helping you buy an investment property. What would be the prediction of rent over the next 10 years? Like, that's something we can assist in. But when you're trying to tell somebody like there's going to be lower mortgage rates, yes, that may be true, but when? And does it have enough time for their period on their buy down to let that run its course? Or are we going to put people in bad positions? So I think it's always been a slippery slope on that, and I'll be honest with you, I've always hated that saying. I'm like, dude, this is not good. This is gonna backfire on a lot.
And there's just, man, and me and Adam, I think we try to do a good job of this. When I bought a house, my last house, it was in, oh my goodness, August of 2017. I was not a realtor yet. I had people in my family, will keep it very vague, who said, you should not buy a house. You should wait until it's a buyer's market. Well, thank God I did not listen, because then I sold that house 4 years later and made $100,000 on it. So I just think too, like, this is why you need someone like John, someone like Adam. You need to trust an expert, not like your uncle's mom's cousin's boyfriend who says, oh, you need to wait till it's a buyer's market. Because in most of the USA, going back to even 2017, COVID in 2020, we haven't seen a buyer's market since that time. We haven't. I mean, some places in Florida, some places in California, right? But overall, like, we are not seeing it. And so that's where, like, when you have a great relationship with your realtor, like myself, Adam, and you know you can trust them and they're going to do the right thing, you can take their word for whether it's a good or bad time. And it's situation dependent, right? People say, is it a good time to buy or sell? Well, what I answer, I learned this from our sponsor, Jeremy Kane, is that depends, right? Tell me what you're trying to do and we'll kind of walk you through the situation.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly, man. So with that being said, I know we kind of went into the whole ethics of everything, which is not a problem at all. But I want to dive into some more of the tactical stuff that you've used inside your business to become successful. Because like you said, we're kind of we're both non-traditional realtors, but we have a very different way of approaching our business.
For sure.
What did you find was the biggest impact in your business when it comes to lead generation when you started?
Yeah, great question. Really, it all has for me been organic social media. And people will say, like, what does that mean? That means I am posting for free about my life, about my journey, right? And so I coach agents on this, and they'll often be like, well, I did it for a week. No. It's not doing it for a week. It is doing it consistently. My main platform is Facebook, and I am aging myself with this, but in 2006, I went to college. Adam's laughing because he's heard this story. 2006, I go to college. We got Facebook. Yay, Mark Zuckerberg, all the things. And right about the time I went to college, they changed Facebook so that, guys, do you remember this? You didn't have to have an edu email address anymore. And I remember people at college were like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. This is the end of Facebook. Facebook's never going to survive. And of course, we all know now Meta is basically one of the biggest companies in the world. It certainly survived and grew from that and all those things. It's so wild. Adam, man, we're recording this on a Wednesday. I don't know. It might have been Monday night or Sunday night. Someone from college, I have not spoke, guys, I was like Tommy Boy. I was in college for 7 years, so third college at this point. Someone from 2011, I have not spoken to them in 14 or 15 years, messages me and it says, hey John, it's Liz, last name. I see what you're doing on social media. It looks like you're really enjoying real estate. We're about to get married. My fiance wants to sell his home in this city. Could you help us? I'm like, Liz, so great to hear from you. Yes. And tomorrow night, Thursday, we're getting on Zoom and I will help them sell that house. So here's what happens, guys. So many of you are like posting sold house, under contract, go to my page. Here's the deal. If you're listening to this, you can look up my name, John Schuchman, on Facebook. My page is public. You don't even have to be my friend. Look at what I'm doing. I'm not cramming real estate down your throat. It's a lot of like buckets, and I can share if you'd like, Adam, but it's a lot of like buckets of things I do, things I enjoy, family, faith, which are important to me. And I'm happy to dive into that more if you'd like. And just sharing my journey. And yes, the clients, and yes, how I help people on social media. But it is consistently posting since May. So basically 10 or 11 months now. I have posted almost every single day. I've missed like probably less than 15 in an entire year. And I'm telling you, I get about 100,000 views a month, views on my personal Facebook page. And it's been absolutely life-changing. Maybe by the time this goes out or sometime before June 1st, I will be an icon agent at EXP. So that's the top 1%. And whenever I talk to somebody, I'm like, organic social media. And they're like, okay, and what else? Like, what leads did you buy? What doors did you knock on? And I'm like, organic social media. I am committed to making a post on Facebook every single day. And so we can go anywhere you want. I could share about the buckets, whatever, but that's it. And what I find when I train realtors is they're like, well, I tried. No, you didn't. Think about like, I'm super into like sports, and I went to spring training the past 3 years, and like the Phillies are running the bases in February and March. Well, they're not sitting there like, I tried. Like, no, they're doing this February, March, all the way through September, October, and the World Series goes into November. That's what, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, of consistent action every day. Think about Adam in bands. They didn't try to play. Well, we tried to play one time. Like, no, he practiced every freaking day. He put in the work every single day trying to work on his craft. He's not the best singer. I heard it.
Yeah, he heard it. No, you guys don't want to hear that.
But how did he get good at playing guitar and all those things? Well, guess what? It's by consistent actions. It sounds so silly when we talk about anything else. Imagine a relationship with your spouse and you're like, well, I tried to talk to them. We had an argument, so now I quit. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to have disagreements. So if you want to have success, what I recommend is like consistent posting on social media. Make it a habit. All right, after this, I'll shut up. But I have to say, I talk to realtors all the time. And when I say, how much money do you want to make this year? How many deals do you want to do? How much? They like literally have it. There's someone that I coach and she has it to the dollar how much she wants to make this year and how many deals. And then I'll say to people, what's your social media strategy? And they're like, what? Like, and it's, well, you have no strategy. You have no plan on social media. Why do you think you're not having success with it? So I get a little heated about it because there's so much you can do, and we'll go any way you want to go with this, but there's just so much potential with it if you hone in what you want to post about and why.
Yeah. Dude, guys like me, John's very passionate about this, right?
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Don't view it as anger, view it as passion, guys. He cares, right? And this is for real, man. And you bring up a really good point, man. Being in a band was no small feat. Like, that was hard work, dude. It was, you know, getting a group of 6 dudes together multiple times a week, booking shows on weekends. It's a lot like real estate. That was one of the craziest things when I got into real estate. I realized how similar being in a band as a professional is and then being in real estate, because think about it. What is the biggest way to get my band the next show? Marketing, right? How did I grow my band? I grew my band through MySpace, right?
Yep.
So,
oh, good old MySpace. That was my last social media platform before Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, dude. And
Baseball Guy 601, bro. Baseball Guy 601. That was me.
Baseball Guy 601. We were no one left standing, dude. And like, here's the deal. One of the things I wish Facebook would have done is allowed more personalization of the profiles, right? Because with MySpace, here's the crazy thing. I'm going to get a little techie with you on this. They had us so dialed on MySpace that you had an entire generation of kids learning how to code without even knowing it. Like, I don't know if you remember, but you'd go find these backgrounds for your MySpace page and you'd have to
and
copy
Zanga. Remember
Zanga? Yes, dude, exactly, man. You'd be sitting there copying code, putting it in your header section, creating all this stuff, embedding players and all this, and nobody really realized what was going on. We were just playing with the social media, but that's exactly what we did with my band. I created a bot. So yes, AI has been around for a very long time. So back in 2004,
that sounds familiar, Adam.
Yeah, we created a bot that would just automatically post our songs, our player from our band page onto the comment section of all the famous people. And what would happen is it'd be on autoplay, so it would rack up all those plays, and then it made us look way bigger online than we really were in real life. And that led to multiple competition winnings. We won Best Band in Denver 2 years in a row. We won Cabo Wabo's Your Shot to Rock national competition. And we were able to get out and tour and stuff. And it all started with organic social media, right? We didn't pay for any ads. I'm not against paying for ads. That's how I generate my business now, as I run paid ads on Facebook. But for the band, it's the same kind of concept, right? We're out there, we're posting all the time. And guys, keep in mind, this is 2004, so there were no camera phones. Like, we were out there with camcorders. It's all shaky. The sound sucks. And unfortunately, we stopped playing around 2014, right when camera phones got on. So I go to show people all the bands like us playing on stage with Korn and stuff like that. And it's like old school camera cell phone footage from the flip phones. And it's all, you can't hear nothing. It's like, dang, man, we were just shy of being really able to leverage the social media. But now it's all there. Most of us have a phone on here that can shoot in 4K. So why not jump on in the morning and be like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing today as a realtor, or hey, I'm hanging out with my family. Like, I think one of the biggest things that impacted me on your page in the last couple of months was when you went down and you shot the football game, or the base. It was baseball or football, one of those two. But you got field level. Yeah, you were out there, dude. You're like, it's like, dude, this is sick, man. And people see that, and they get another way to relate to you. And that's what people want. They want authenticity. They want to be able to relate. So when agents are out there suiting up, I'm a victim of it. I did it too. And I'm not saying not to wear a suit. Like, if you're in the luxury division, you're pulling up to $4 and $5 million houses, you better suit up, because they're probably suited up too. Right? But I work with first-time home buyers, dude. I work with blue-collar workers. Like, my last lead that came in off of Facebook, I nurtured him for 3 years in my CRM. We never spoke. He must have seen me obviously online, but I never saw him. And then out of nowhere, I get this request through Lofty to go see this property up in Fort Lupton, which is like an hour and a half away. Most agents are going to be like, well, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? And I'm like, no way, dude, just go out and meet the dude, right? So I'm standing outside this new build an hour away from my house, and here comes the dude pulling up in a truck, hops out, bald head, covered in tattoos, big old beard, and a Pantera shirt on. And I'm like, bro, this deal was done the moment he stepped out of the truck, right? Like, it was done. He's like, what's up? And I'm like, oh my God, dude. And now we're friends. We go to shows together and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where if I would have showed up in a suit to sell a $400,000 townhouse, like, and I'm not saying not to do that. If that's your style, that's great, but it would have pedestaled me. And instead, when he got out, he saw somebody that was like him, and he felt comfortable with it. And then from there, dude, it's like, I'm going to show you I know my stuff. I don't have to show you with my looks. I'll show you with my brains that I understand how this business works, and I understand that what we need to do to put you into a house, right? And then you just go from there. But that's one of the things that I think a lot of realtors are missing out on, especially the newbies. So if you're brand new in real estate out there and you're like, dude, it just ain't working, like, think about how you're showing up to these. Are you showing up as you or the corporate version of you? And I can't stand that, man. Like, some people, they justify it. But you get me just the same on this podcast as you get me sitting out at a party. You know, me and you, we met in Denver. You came to that Impact 2024, right? Or no, 2023. And here comes John Schuchman running through the damn hallway. And I'm like,
with his backpack.
Jeremy's like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to somebody. And then that was it, man. We met. And it's just one of those things, dude, where you were genuinely yourself. I was genuinely myself. We come from different walks of life, but I think you're a genuine dude, man. And the more that you just keep on at that authenticity, the more people are going to just start to gravitate towards you.
And what I would say, so it's very interesting, you know, you talked about me being on the field. Yeah, my buddy got me field access to photograph a Major League game this past fall. People love the journey. So Adam, you might have seen even a couple weeks ago, you know, a few weeks ago in March, I took a buddy to spring training. We hit like six baseball games in 3 days. So a lot of you who are listening to this that are realtors would be like, well, that's not real estate. That's stupid content I'm not going to put out there. What I do is I show a lifestyle, and we will let you get to that lifestyle in one of two ways. One is, John, I want to buy a house, build freedom through real estate, or just have a house. I want that freedom. Great. Or two, hey, John, you look like you're having a lot of fun in real estate. I want to think about coming to EXP and the Wolfpack, and Adam and I can help you with that, right? But what I sell is a lifestyle. I do not sell houses. I sell a lifestyle. So I'll quickly, and because I think this will help, share my 5. I kind of have like 6. I kind of cheat, but like my buckets on social media. So 1 is faith and family. My faith is very important. Family is very important. Wife and 2 beautiful kids. 2 is like my real estate buyers and sellers. Okay. 3 is like the social media stuff I do, the social media coaching, and like the Wolfpack. So that's kind of all in one like category. 4 is I'm a Phillies season ticket holder. So I talk about the Phillies all the time. We're recording this and opening day is tomorrow. It's going to be a blast, right? So I talk a lot about the Phillies. And then 5, me and my wife, in 2019, 2020, when I was getting into real estate, we're broke. Ended up 2 years later paying off all our debt, $160,000 and our house, all through the blessings of real estate. God bless us so much, and we were so thankful.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I do like number 6 is like other fun stuff, just like having fun. But everything fits into those categories. So here's the deal, right? Sometimes I will call out an agent, not by name, but like, hey, people, you don't want crappy agents. And so it's kind of for 2 audiences. Realtors online are like, hey, if I want to be different, I go talk to John and join his group or join EXP. Buyers and sellers are like, oh, if I want an agent that's different, I hire John, right? There's somebody in my group and they love to go travel. So I'm like, post about that because you're going to make a connection point, right? I will see clients this week and so many of them, Adam, the first thing they'll say is like, were you at the game yesterday, right? Did you see the game? Did you watch, right? Opening day in Philadelphia is Monday, so I'll go, right? Like, it's conversation starters. And imagine like Adam, imagine if he would have friended the guy on Facebook and they show up to the showing and they're like, oh, what was the last concert you went to? Who did you see last? Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear this band's coming back? They're having this tour. And then you're like, oh yeah, let's go see this house. You already have this relationship, and social media is a way to create that relationship. It's not just houses. It's not just, sharing about this deal that closed. It's sharing your life. And I have gone to spring training the past 3 years, did a month last year, a month the year before. So a lot of people are like, wait, how do you like go away for a month? Well, the freedom that real estate provides. And so the more you share your journey organically on social media, the more people want to support you, right?
Absolutely.
I love my kids and people see that I love my kids. Like, so they want to support someone who's taking care of his family, who has tried to, my wife's a stay-at-home mom, so wants to support that. It's all relationship building, and the selling houses and buying houses comes after that.
That's the byproduct, right? We want people to learn who you are, and that's what a great job. Like if I was a potential home buyer in Philly, I'd be like, maybe, and especially if I like baseball. I'm not as into the sports as you are. I'm
You're not watching 162 games.
I was a horrible athlete, dude. Let's just say I got kicked off my little league team. But no, like, dude, people are gonna watch that and they're gonna be like, hey, man, John likes the same stuff as I do, right? And if I buy a house through, maybe he'll take me to a game.
If you buy a house with me, I will take you to a game.
There it is.
If
guys.
you hear this, your offers are out there.
You want to go watch the Phillies get their butt kicked, dude? Then buy a house through John. Dude, tell me you're a fan of Always Sunny.
I've never really seen it. I'm so sorry.
Are you live in Philly and you've never seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, dude? Okay, so this is my
I did see a clip
thing.
where Chase Utley was on it, so I saw 1.5 minutes.
I'm gonna send you some clips, bro. You have to watch this. It's on Hulu, but it's insane, man. Like there's an episode where they're in court. They got in a bunch of trouble because they parked a car illegally. They tried to sneak into the World Series when Philly was in the World Series, and they're like sitting in front of the judge, and they're like, the judge is like, how do you plead, and they're like, Your Honor, we plead not guilty, and they're like, by what reason? And they're like, well, Your Honor, the Philadelphia Phillies winning the World Series. And they found this tunnel through the sewers that snuck them into this back. There's like a legend for a tunnel leaving the Phillies stadium because Phillies fans are so rough that the other teams have to leave out so they don't get their butts kicked. And it's just hilarious, man. But you being from Philly really surprises me that you don't jam out on Always Sunny, man. It's a great show, dude.
I'm too busy watching 162 baseball games a year, Adam. How could I?
That's it. John's poor wife. She's like, can we watch something else other than football or baseball?
I will say I have gotten the whole family excited, so they do enjoy it with me. Maybe not as much as me, but yeah.
Are you a yeller? Like when do you yell through the TV at your team? Yes, that's a yes. Bro, dude,
This dude just called me out. This is the promo piece for the podcast. Are you a yeller? I was like, old yeller?
No, John's like standing up. He's like, ah! Dude, I grew up with that, right? My parents are huge Denver Bronco fans. Never missed a game, like obviously on TV. But it was that whole armchair quarterback thing that you say, my stepdad growing up would just scream at the top of his lungs. I'd be outside and I'm hearing him. I'm like, Denver scored or Denver fumbled. And you could always tell how the game was going by how loud my house would get. And it's crazy, man. It's funny. But I picture you doing some of the same stuff.
I will say, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I did run outside screaming.
Did you? Did you light fireworks and stuff?
No, I don't want to blow off my hand. You're welcome. We beat the Chiefs, who, if you don't know, are rivals with the Broncos.
Who's that? Who's the Chiefs? No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, there was this Indian guy. He was a chief, and he had some, I don't know. Pocahontas was one of his people.
Yeah, man, there's definitely a hatred for the Kansas City Chiefs inside the city of Denver for sure. This last Super Bowl, man, was definitely, nobody was rooting for the Chiefs, I don't think, dude.
and nobody outside of Kansas City. Yep.
No, man, it's wild. But yeah, dude, that's cool. And see, you guys, this is exact examples, right? We're sitting here jamming out about sports. Somebody sees John doing this on his website or on his social media, and they're like, hey, I like that too. I feel closer to John now, right? And then John posts something else up. He's like, oh yeah, look at my 2 young kids and look at how awesome it is. We're going to church on Sundays. And they're like, dude, I go to church on Sundays too. It goes back to I don't know who coined the term, but I always hear Tom Ferry saying it. It's like your vibe will attract your tribe. And that's 100% when it comes to organic social media. If you want clients that are fun to work with, that you can jive with, that everything just kind of seems to align, then this is the #1 way to do it. You don't have to convince people to work with you because they're already convinced based on what you're putting on your social media.
And I would add too, sorry to jump in there, like it is all attract and detract. So if let's just say that you make a post. You know, I had a client once, and it was September. My son's birthday is September 2nd, and they were like, "Can you meet Thursday, September 2nd at like 10 a.m.?" And long story short, he was gonna have nap time later and was with my mother-in-law for the morning. So I'm like, if I take this meeting, I'm not gonna see my kid till like 5 p.m. on his birthday. So many realtors are like, I have to do it. I have to say yes to every client. So I'm like, hey, it's my son's birthday. Could we do the next day? And they're like, oh, absolutely, no problem. And they respected it. But do you see, by bringing that up, if she would have said no, I would have pushed her away and said, you're not the client for me. And so my social media, when I talk about things I enjoy, when I talk about like how I run my business, I am either bringing you in or pushing you away. While I'm on this call, someone just messaged me about like, hey, how are you leveraging organic social media? And so it's just like, these are the things that kind of happen when you're your authentic self. So on my page, you can go and look it up. I share screenshots of people's analytics that have grown 400%, 4,000%, somebody the other day was 9,000% in a month by doing what I teach. It's teaching you organic, teaching you to post consistently, having accountability to me and our group for that. If you are a person that wants to just buy leads or buy ads on my Facebook, I'm literally saying, I'm not for you. I'm pushing you away because you're like, you want to build it this way. That's great. There's a ton of people that can do that. That's not me. I'm pushing you away. Like, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Yeah. Right. And I think that's just leverage, man. I will get on calls. It's someone you might actually know, so I'll be careful what I say here. But I was on a call with someone one day, and they said they heard me speak on one of the Tuesday night calls, and they're like, you're crushing on social media. You created a 6-figure income through organic social media. Thanks so much. And we'll call him Ryan for now, because I talked about it, I think, on a social post calling him Ryan. But okay. So Ryan, we talk about it, and Ryan's like, he hears me for an hour talk on the Wolfpack call, and then he's like, oh, that's really great. Thanks so much. I'm going to build it a different way. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And he goes, well, you built the success and created a 6-figure income. That's cool for you. I'm going to go build the 6-figure income and then talk about how great I am afterwards on social media. I was like, okay, that seems like a little backwards, but like, do your thing. And then he goes, hey, so tell me about your membership group. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not a fit. And he goes, what do you mean? And he was like all offended. And I'm like, Ryan, you're literally telling me that you're not going to do the work that I would need you to do for you to have success in my group. So actually, by letting you in for $97 or whatever, you're coming in to poison my community. I have to gatekeep well. So I said, I wish you well. Follow my podcast. Follow me on Facebook. Do your thing. Wish you the best. And he was really offended. And I'm like, I'm not offended at all, because I don't want everyone.
Ryan called me and was like, Adam, this dude sucks. Teach me how to run ads. And I'm like, let's go, bro.
And that's perfect. That's perfect.
I'm totally kidding. But the reason, and I'm totally kidding, but obviously, like, this is what makes the Wolfpack so powerful, is because there may be people that aren't a good fit, right? And then John can say, hey, you know what? You want to do paid lead gen. You want to do it a different way. Like, maybe you explore over here, right? Yes. Push them down that way, and they can still get helped out. And then even with EXP's new co-sponsorship that's getting announced here in the next couple of days, it creates opportunities for people. So where you would usually have to push somebody away, they may fit somewhere else. So it's just one of those things that I think creates that opportunity. But you're absolutely right. You know, the last thing that we would need is somebody coming into our system and being like, no, I want to do it this way. And this is how you get dissatisfied clients. I use the same type of approach when I'm taking on a client with real estate. Like you had said, like if they would have had a problem with you going to your son's birthday, like I'm not interested in working with you anymore. That's a huge red flag, right? And a lot of us, especially new agents, we're just trying to cling on to any deal. And I encourage you to really test the waters with some of these people. You know, not trying to bait them, but lay out your expectations. If these people have a problem with your expectations, then instead of saying, oh, well, maybe I'll change the format in which I work to try to appease this customer, you got to think like, well, if they're already acting like this, what's it going to look like on a Sunday when I'm at a family barbecue and I don't work on Sundays and they need to go see a house? What's that going to look like when we put them under contract and we go through inspection and then they don't agree with the inspection and don't want to take your advice? So I've fired many clients, and I use the word fire because that's exactly what it is. It's like, hey, look, My job is to be your advisor and consultant and educate you on the process of real estate so you can make good decisions. If you're not going to take my consultation, then what are we doing here?
Adam and me lost a lot of W-2 jobs, so we want to fire just as many clients in our real estate business.
We're like, you're fired. But no, at the same time, it's like, do I want a bad review? You know, do I want you leaving this experience saying that, oh, this didn't work right for me? So I'm not afraid to pull the plug straight on. I got a listing. We put it on contract. The clients were acting super cool. Got a bona fide offer at asking price. And my client literally comes back and says, let's counter propose them for an extra 10,000. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, I just think that we can get it. If they were this easy to get in on one offer in the first weekend, it's like, no, you're not understanding. I marketed the home properly. I put the home out there and it's going under contract. This isn't a time frame type thing. This is a results driven business, and now you want to jump the price up. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's not a fair offer. And I don't think you're working in my best interest. And she starts going off on me, dude. I pulled the plug right there. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and we'll just reject this offer. I'm going to send you a notice to terminate, and that's going to go ahead and end our relationship effective immediately. And I wish you the best of luck. And they're like, wait, what do you mean? And I'm like, hey, at the end of the day, I want you to be satisfied with the way this goes. And if you don't believe or trust me enough to take my advice and consultation, then what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't about me. It's not about my paycheck. It's about you. And you're not going to take the advice. So last thing I need is somebody going around saying that they were dissatisfied with my service. So let's just end it now. You can go out, you can get another realtor, you can sell it your way. And guess what? They never sold a house. They brought it on with another realtor. You know, I stalked the listing for a couple of months and then watched it go expired. And I'm like, guess what? Probably the same situation. Right? Thank God I avoided that. You know?
Right, because nobody benefits if the house doesn't sell. Then they're just frustrated with you.
Absolutely. And then you got that negative intonation going around on you. And in real estate, you're John Schuchman. I'm Adam Gillespie. I could put whatever name I want in front of that, but at the end of the day, I'm still Adam Gillespie. This isn't like you can just go start a new business and rebrand yourself and get rid of that bad reputation that starts to follow you because you compromise your values to try to compensate for somebody else's. And that's always a recipe for disaster in any kind of business that you're in, right? You got to have your values. You got to stick straight to them, man.
Bingo.
So with that being said, man, we could jam out all day. You know me and you were talkers. But I want to jam out a little bit about how you ended up at the Wolfpack and kind of what this has done for your life, because both of us are sitting here in two different walks of life, but the Wolfpack has dramatically changed our lives for the better. And I want to hear your story on that, dude.
Yeah, I think very similar to you, Adam. You know, Adam was at a good number 10 brokerages, right? Is that right?
10 brokerages, 8.5 years, dude.
And then finally found his home. I actually had only been at one prior, but had interviewed with a bunch. What is so interesting is if you've thought about it, and so many of you listening to this are like considering EXP, but you're like, no, there's no physical offices. Those people don't sell houses. They're just recruiters. I want you to do one thing for me. Consider the source. Because normally the people bashing us have never been here, have no idea what we do not realize that they could literally have access to a call with Mike Sherrard like every week, right? They don't understand the access they get. They don't understand like how the Wolfpack can change their business. So I brought a business over. I did about $6 million a year coming over and was like, oh, I'm a good realtor, right? Took that, a lot of the social media training from Mike and Jeremy and, you know, all these amazing people that are, you know, above me and Adam at the company, right? Jeremy Kane, Louis Galt, Mike Sherrard, Connor Steinbrook, right? All the people. Like, I applied that to my business and absolutely dominated and crushed it, right? I came over and I said, I'm not going to be a recruiter, Jeremy. I'm never going to do that. And he laughed. He goes, you don't understand it. He goes, that's okay. He goes, you serve agents so much through your membership, through your podcast that's once a week, through your social media that anyone can copy that and have success with it if they do it right and have accountability. He's like, you serve people so much, they're just going to come to you. And as we record this, right, I'm a couple deals away from Icon, so I'll be an Icon agent. My cap resets June 1st, so I have till May, end of May. I'll be an Icon agent, so that's the top 1% of all of our 100,000 agents at EXP. Only about 1,000 of them, 1% Icon. And I'm the number one in the top 1% in terms of most most agents attracted to the company when I'll sit down with people and be like, here, let me help you with social media. And they're like, well, cool, but tell me about this thing, the Wolfpack. Right. So all the negativity you read is like, oh, we're just gonna like kind of like push you into a corner and force you to like what, in blood, to join the Wolfpack. Like, it's just a bunch of baloney. I've never once started a conversation trying to recruit somebody. I just serve them, and then they're like, hey, tell me about EXP. And I'm like, oh, okay. I remember last week I sat with someone, and I was thinking they were talking about joining my membership. Then they're like, well, can we talk about EXP? And I'm like, oh, now I got to shift to this page. So that's kind of how I've brought agents to the company. But all that to say, like, it is absolutely the very short version. You could have skipped the last 3 minutes, guys. The very short version is it completely changed my life. Production went insane. Went from 6-something million to 9.2. Insane. A lot of those referrals come from our EXP network of 100,000 agents across the world looking for someone in Denver or Lancaster, PA, or whatever. And I know your story is very similar. Completely changed my life. You know, I had somebody trying to recruit me a couple weeks ago, and we sat down, and he's at a local office somewhere. I'm like, if you put $1 million in front of me, I would not leave. And so he's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, so how's the weather? Like, it was you could tell he was like, remember, we're the ones that pitch. I've never done it in my life. So it's very like, other ones are the ones like, oh, come to lunch, come to this thing. They've got like your MLS numbers of like, here's how much and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you are trying way too hard. And I'm like, if you laid $1 million on the table, I would not leave. And so, that's the long version, but it has completely changed my life. Like, people like, and here's the thing too, like, now with co-sponsorship, we have this option together, but like, you've been on my podcast when I'm not in your downline and vice versa. I did a series in the fall of like Wolfpack leaders on my podcast. Bro, 3 of them out of 15 or 16 were like in my line and would financially benefit. But that's what you have at the Wolfpack, is we just serve and help and care about each other. I want to help you, and we're kind of like, how can we care about and serve each other, right? And you're part of the leaders group now, and we, anyone who has 10 more agents. Connor Steinbrook spent tens of thousands of dollars this past fall at EXPCon to buy yachts for us, right? Me and Adam were on the yacht eating a sandwich.
Hey,
right?
Let's talk about that real quick. What happened on that yacht? I remember. I remember when we left, we had to catch a ride because I think you left the keys to our car.
Are you really gonna do this right now?
It was amazing, guys.
Adam,
it was amazing. We're still giving John crap on that one.
Adam, here's what we need. Here's what you need to know, right? Like, I'm not criticizing anybody else. Like, there was alcohol and people drink and have a good time. I had like one alcoholic beverage because I really don't drink. Like, so I don't have a high tolerance and all those things. And I want to make smart choices. And the sober idiot, this guy,
our designated driver.
Why? Explain to me. Okay, guys, this has to be the way to close it out. If you got on a jet ski, would you take your car? No, you would not.
You'd be like, hey, hold these.
Adam, I forgot. Oh, dude, you really gonna embarrass me like that? Yes. So I left the car key. But what you don't know, Adam, is then when I Ubered, you guys Ubered back to the place, and I went to the owner of the Turo said he would like let us borrow the other key. Very nice. So what you don't know is I Ubered to get the key and then Ubered back and talked in the car to the Uber driver about becoming a realtor. So it was beneficial. So
now I'll give you this. All right. It wasn't like you left the key in your pocket and now it's sitting at the bottom of Miami Harbor needing to be fished out with magnets. You actually took the courtesy to go, hey, I'm getting on a jet ski right now. This key might fall out of my pocket. Let me put it in the glove box of this jet ski.
Exactly.
I just won't pull it out. We'll just leave it
there. You ever seen the movie, the show, The Absent-Minded Professor? I'm not a professor, but I'm a little absent-minded.
We had to take a little bit of a side mission to go get those keys back, and then you had to take an even longer side mission.
Since we are completely off the rails at this point, then when we're going to leave, fly that final day, I go to return the car, and I'm like, okay, I'll get the key. We go somewhere. We're speaking Spanish to these people. They don't understand me.
ChatGPT out. I'm like,
no hablo español. Yeah, you did get ChatGPT.
Yeah, dude.
And then we go to this other house. We ended up going to the not as nice part of Miami, we'll put it that way, to go get this key at this dude's house. And I'm like, if this is all right, Lord, if this is the way I go, I'm about to get murdered. It's been a fun ride. And we did get the key.
They were awesome people too. Super nice
You
guys.
did not warn me that you were going to bring this up. I was not prepared for that.
It's all about surprises, dude.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even think about it until he started talking about Miami. Because, yeah, like going back to that, Connor bought yachts for us. We took a evening yacht trip out into the harbor. We had jet skis. We had 2 yachts. We watched the sunset. We cruised back in after it got dark. You know, it was amazing. And then the very next night, we were up at the top of Rosa Sky Bar, which is like 50 floors up in the Brickell district of Miami. We rented out the entire bar. Let me rephrase that. Connor rented out the entire bar for like 200 of us. And that's another thing that can kind of speak to the family vibe. You guys see how John and I are interacting. This is not just me and John. This is the crew. We're a family here, and yeah, we just took over. 200 of us showed up to EXPCon from all over the world, and we all just jam out, and we have a really great time, and we try to see how we can learn off each other and how much value we can provide, and this is what formed the Wolfpack, what we have today, which is 3,300 agents in 24 countries. It's like nothing I've ever experienced out of the 10 brokerages in 8.5 years that I've been doing it, man.
And with the 10 brokerages and 8 people gatekeep, if I give you a call, Adam G 303, and I say like, hey, I'm struggling with this with my CRM or struggling with this with AI, can you help me? I've actually even messaged you before, like, hey, is this a good deal? Is it not? Like, which one should I be using? Like, blah, blah. Like, you're not like, well, book a paid call with me and I'll help you. You're just like, yeah, I'll help. Because I think we believe in, I always say it wrong, but like law of reciprocity or whatever. Like, I feel like when I serve and help others, they're going to serve and help me. And so like, if you call me about anything, I'm going to answer you because I know that at some point I might have a question and I want to be treated the same way. Like there's no one I've ever messaged in the Wolfpack ever that has been like, nope, I'm not going to help you. Like, yeah. It's, and you know, again, Adam teaches like AI and CRM and those kinds of things and has a course and all these things. I have the social media thing, but there's so many other things. There's someone that does cold calling. There's someone that does open houses. And when I think one of the greatest quotes that I've taken away from the Wolfpack, Adam, is Mike Sherrard says this all the time. Everything works if you work at it. So if you want a cold call, hey, there's people that can help you with that. That's not my vibe or Adam's, right? But you can do it, and there's someone that can help you learn it. And it's completely changed my life. I mean, Adam, right? The rev share for both of us in the next few years, we will be able to exit production because people are just coming to us. And you don't believe us, and you think we're dumb, and you think we just recruit. But let me tell you, Lancaster, PA, I had six meetings in the last 2 weeks. I believe, and I think you would agree, I'm going to do a video or post on this on social media. The traditional brokerage model is broken. It's completely broken. And Adam, remind me, when people come over to you or me or whatever, and they want our trainings, how many thousands do they pay you a month, bro?
About 30,000 a month. No, it's 100% free, man.
Yeah.
Like, look, you're in my best interest at that point in time. The way that the model works at EXP, it's like I could bring you on, and if I don't help you and I don't show you my systems and you don't produce, then you don't make any money. I don't make any money.
And you're pissed and you leave.
And you're pissed and you leave. Exactly. 100%, dude. So it's in my best interest to help you. And that's where I think a lot of people don't understand is it's like, no, I want to help. Like, I actually want to help you. Not just because it's going to stack my rev share downline, but I personally, dude, I love it when people call me and they're like, Adam, I've been implementing AI on my business and I've got so much more of my time back. I've got more deals under contract than I ever have. And it's like, thank you. And it's like, you know what? This is why I do this. This is dope. I love seeing people grow. I love seeing people create financial freedom. And the way that EXP's laid this model out is that it incentivizes us beyond just that feeling to be like, hey, let's work together. Let's get you capped. Then you can make your 100% commission. You don't have to pay into rev share for the rest of your anniversary year, and you become more successful. I've been with 10 brokerages. A lot of them were teams that had no caps, but I was also with brokerages that had caps. A couple of 100% brokerages. I was with HomeSmart and Brokers Guild, which is out here in Colorado, and they have a lower cap, but I never capped because I didn't have that inspiration surrounding me. Like, this is a success by proximity type situation. I get into EXP my first year, I'm around these dudes, these killers out here, I cap. Second year, cap. This year, gonna cap for sure. I probably won't hit Icon, but that's because I only am doing production part-time at this point. I'm very focused on Apex Elite AI and the coaching community there, and that's kind of taken me away. But if I wasn't doing that, I'd be Iconing, you know, just like you are. And that's the thing is that being around these people who know how to do the business, who care about you, who help push you forward. Like, not even kidding. I was telling Louis the other day, I'm like, man, I got to start working out in the mornings. Like, you know, I try to do my workout at like 10 o'clock and it just kind of messes my day up. And I'm like, I'm going to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's like, all right, cool. Next day, who's calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning? My alarm's going off. My phone's ringing. I'm like, what is going on? And
who's this idiot?
Yeah. And Louis like, you better get your ass in the gym, dude. Like now, like, let's go, dude. I'm going too, you know? And it's like, dude, this is like, he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? But he cares. Like, how is that going to help me do more deals, right? Well, I'll tell you. It's going to help me get my physical fitness up to par, which helps with our mental clarity, which helps me go out and do more deals, and also gets me in the gym in the morning instead at 10 o'clock in the day when I should be out interacting with people. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of brotherhood that we have here at the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack. It's the like the Wishpack is what I wanted to say, because this is like a wish come true, dude. Like, my whole 8.5 years in real estate, I never really bonded with other agents and anything, dude. It was always this competitive atmosphere. And then the Wolfpack came on, and now I've got, 10 plus friends in Canada, all across all provinces. I've got friends in Mexico, Costa Rica, Spain, Turkey. Like, dude, it's insane what this community and what this Rev Share organization has done for my life. My life is completely different now than it was 2 years ago. And like you said, you could put $10 million in front of my face right now. I'd be like, absolutely not. My long game here is going to pay me dividends beyond that. And there's literally nothing anybody could do to rip me away. The only thing that could make me leave EXP is if one day the Wolfpack was like, hey guys, we're moving to a new brokerage, we're taking the whole organization. I'd go, because I love this organization so
Which
much.
would, I mean, the
Never
people
happened.
at the top, right, making, I mean, and Connor and Mike have shared, it's not like it's a secret, right? Multi-million dollars a year through revenue share, through just serving and helping agents, right?
Multiple millions of dollars per year. And a willable asset, dude.
And here's the other thing too. Both of them, like, I think when I came over, Adam, I was like, you know what? That's cool. Let me build rev share and then I'm going to disappear. Now, I won't ever disappear because I've watched how they continue to serve and help us. So guys, you want success? The three at the top in our organization, Connor Steinbrook, Mike Sherrard, Louis Galt, have all exited production. Our sponsor, Jeremy Kane, left his dad's brokerage. So there's something here that, like, people are getting, but you're going to convince yourself from Google telling you that all we do is recruit and we don't sell houses, that you're never going to come here. Well, joke's on you.
You're missing out, man. It's the only place I've ever found with a real exit strategy.
Yep.
Being able to build rev share that you can give to your children someday. All they have to do is hold a real estate license. I mean, that's huge. Nowhere in real estate can you do that. In real estate, we work, we expire, we don't retire, right?
Yeah.
Well, not over here, man. Like, dude, I've got maybe a year or two left in production. I'm going to go full-blown coach. I'll probably stay in production minorly, just so that way I keep my boots on the ground. It's important to me to know what's going on in the industry, because obviously AI being so new, which is funny. This is an AI podcast. We haven't even talked about AI yet. Like,
oh yeah.
So before we end this call, John, what do you use AI in your business?
So it's funny, Adam, because you were probably the first person to tell me about AI, and I'm like, that's cool, that's great. I don't want it replacing John. And so, of all the people you talk to about AI, I use it a little differently, but here's what you guys know after listening to me for 40 minutes or an hour or however long it's been, right? John's a lot.
Understatement.
John's a lot. And so how I use AI, and Adam, you've helped me a ton with this, is I've kind of taught AI that I like to tell stories in a storytelling mode on social media. And I mean, I think the robot knows John's a lot and like ADHD. What I normally what I normally do is I will want it in like my authentic voice. So I'll kind of like record either right into ChatGPT or transcribe it and then plug it in, like me talking for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes about what I want to post. Right. So we had a call this morning on Louis' call. Matt Thornburg basically said, like, everything works in real estate, these kinds of he said something to the point of like, real estate is easy, but it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Well, that's a post. I can go be like, hey, this morning on our Wolfpack elevation call, Matt said this, we talked about this. And so the way I use it is I want it to be my authentic voice. And then AI is like all right, John, you need some guardrails. Woo! We're going to bring it all the way into like the meat of what you're trying to say. And so I'm probably using it like 5% of what I could, but it's helped me a ton. It organizes my CRM. It's done a lot for me. A lot of it is like, and the guys, this is the thing. I post every day. Well, how do you post every day? Well, guess what? I'm looking right now at my projects, which is new in ChatGPT. Right, I've got Doubter to Mentor, right? All these different things. There's 50 stories in here that I have not even gotten to use yet. So everyone that's like, well, I don't know what to post. Well, guess what? If you used AI like that, where you had it in folders, data recorded and said, clean this up, you would know what to post.
100%, man. And I think you're using it. You say you only use 5% of what you could, which I think is kind of accurate, but you're using it in a very big point, right? Like, I suffer from this too. You and I, we're shotgun blast of information. We're like, blah, right? Like people on YouTube and people on social media don't have time to listen to me beat around the bush for 30 minutes before I get to the point. So AI helps bring that out in a clear, more concise message that people can relate to. And it makes my communication skills look significantly better than they are when I just start brain dumping on people. Because that's the biggest problem. Is I like to dive deep. I like to go techie. So I'll write 3 bullet points on a document, and I'll go film a video, and that video will turn into an hour. And it's like, wait a second, is that necessary? No, it's not, right? So then I can take that and say, let's condense this, script it out, and it's like, oh yeah, I just took an hour-long video and dropped it in 7 minutes because of all of the BS that I just kind of slang behind it to try to make people understand. It's like, you don't really need to be like that. So I think it's a great way to use ChatGPT and other large language models, but don't just stop there. Continue to learn on it. Be like, okay, cool. So now that you've condensed this back, do you got any tips or pointers how I can do this live? Where I can start learning how to speak better? And now you've trained ChatGPT to teach you how to speak, to be a better presenter. And that's the missing link that a lot of realtors haven't gotten yet, is it's like, dude, this is beyond listing descriptions.
Yeah.
This is project management. This is coaching. This is everything you could ever need.
And here's another one that you really helped me with is like, when I ask it to do something, I will say, are there any questions you have for me to like excel at this project for me? And then it'll say, I think I did one the other day. It's like, okay, who's your target audience of this post? Who's this? Like, that is where it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, the Disney Channel movie about the house taking over, and locking you inside or whatever. But that's where, like, I kind of feel like it sounds weird, but I know you'll understand. It's like training the robot to understand me as a person means I can say, make a post about this. The other day I put a post, and again, when you're posting every day, sometimes you're like, all right, that part of my brain's not working today, or I need a little break, whatever. I'm like, put an inspirational quote or whatever, knowing me, and it like put this one, and oh my goodness, guys, I should tell you, like, I totally cheated. Like, but what did I post? I wish I could find it, but I'm like, make this post. Okay, wait, I have to read it quick. Because I'm like, based on my success, what would you write as a post? And the long and the short of it was, I used to look around and wonder why others were winning when I felt stuck. They didn't seem smarter, better, weren't working hard, but they were winning. Then I realized, like, the people who succeed aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to quit, consistent every day. Well, guess what? That goes back to a lot of what I teach about social media. So the robot knew John and knew like an inspirational quote. People were like, this is so good, great work. And I'm like, I kind of like did some audio message stuff to it, but like the robot wrote the post.
Yeah, dude, so, you got a ghostwriter right there, And people, many artists, authors, I should say, they ghostwrite their books, dude. Like, so we're not, if anybody's out there like, well, that's kind of cheating. It's like, is it though? Like, let's really break that down. I mean, you got major corporations that hire marketing teams to come in and take the role of what we're having ChatGPT do now. You have people that make massive amounts of money every year, that go into companies and do project management, right? And it's like, dude, so I can do this with a robot now, and I don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do it. This is what makes it so powerful, right? So yeah, man, I think it's awesome, dude. It's been great jamming out with you. We've been going for over an hour now, so we'll probably have to cut it so that way people can get back to their day. But always fun jamming out with you. If you guys want to get more of John, I'll make sure to link his Facebook page in the description below. But John, if you want to go ahead and send us out the right way, tell people how they can find you, and just send us off the right way, dude.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Adam. Proud of you and thankful for you. Thanks, social media is probably the best place. John Schuchman, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. I know, one of the things we discussed was letting people know, like, if you're interested in growing your business organically, social media, I've created a membership for that. $97 a month, very affordable. But a better option probably is talking to me and Adam about how talking to Adam or myself or both of us about how you could bring your business to EXP, because you would get all that for free, including Adam's stuff, including my stuff. And that's kind of where you will see that intense life change. So 100%. Appreciate you, bro. Proud of you. Thankful for you. And yeah, people can just reach out to me on social.
Sweet, man. We'll make sure to link all your stuff. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm proud of you too, brother. Always fun hanging out with you, man. It's never a dull moment when John and I are in the same room. So we'll bring you back on the podcast. But thanks so much for joining, dude, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, bro.
Man, what a conversation. Big shout out to my guy, John Schuchman, for bringing the heat today. We had some laughs, dropped some truth bombs, and really peeled back the curtain on what real authenticity looks like in this business. John's 6 social media buckets are a game changer. So if you're showing up online every day and wondering what to post, that framework alone is going to save you a ton of time and finally help you get some traction. We also talked about the Wolfpack, and this isn't just an organization, it's a family. Miami last year, the yachts, the rooftop bars are memories for life. But more than that, it's the support system. People helping each other win, sharing what's working, and genuinely showing up for one another. That's so rare in this industry. So if you're trying to build a business that feels good, one that aligns with who you are and allows you to show up real, take notes from John's playbook. And hey, if you're ready to level up with the crew that's doing this for real, then come hang with us. You know exactly where to find us. Until next time, keep showing up, stay curious, and never be afraid to lead with who you are. I'll catch you later.